Just ahead on CTV News, President Biden addresses the nation after the Supreme Court's immunity ruling.
No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. Today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity, that fundamentally changed.
2 people are dead and 1 child is in the hospital following an early morning fire in Largo. I'm Katara Jones. I'll have all those details coming up on CTV News.
Here at the University of Maryland, kids are learning life skills through sports. I'm Bryce Parker. We have more coming up on CTV News.
Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for July 2nd. I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us. A woman and a man are dead after a fire ripped through an apartment building in Largo. A child is also in critical condition. CTV's Katara Jones is at the scene with more.
This is just a tragic situation here in Largo. What we know now is that the Prince George's Fire Department received a call about a fire just before 4 a.m. when crews arrived to an apartment building at the Northampton apartment homes on Harry S. Truman Drive. They found flames coming from a top unit and it extended to the roof. Officials say that firefighters found 1 adult male in an apartment. He was pronounced dead on the scene. A young boy who was also put out of the fire is in critical condition. The body of a woman was also found under the rubble. She has now died. CTV News did speak to the uncle of the female victim. Now, he didn't want to speak on camera, but what he did say is that his niece is Chanel Blake. She was a mother to the young boy who is currently in the hospital, and that child is 11 years old.
The roof collapsed pretty much within a few minutes of firefighters being here. We did hit an evacuation tone to pull firefighters out, and that's a standard operating procedure for us to regroup, ensure we have accountability, everyone's accounted for, and then we start deploying units in as well. As well as we had a collapse of the ceiling in the stairwell right in front of the firefighters, so we're thankful that no firefighters were injured on this incident. So firefighters did rescue a dog. He's in this run behind us, and he was unresponsive when firefighters pulled the dog out. They were able to resuscitate the dog, give him some oxygen, and the dog is doing well now. So now we're attempting to find a location where he can be sheltered temporarily. We have the fire investigators are on scene. They're actively combing through the scene right now to try to determine what the cause of the fire was. But it appears initially to have started on the rear balcony and extended up into the attic space.
Crews have since removed the body of Blake from the rubble. An investigation into this deadly incident is still ongoing. Katara Jones, CTV News.
Doubleday says that the residents living in the 12 units in that building are now displaced. The county's Office of Emergency Management will assist those tenants. And President Joe Biden calls the Supreme Court's presidential immunity ruling a dangerous precedent in an address from the White House Monday night. The court ruled 6-3 that Donald Trump and all presidents have absolute immunity for official acts in their position. Biden criticized the decision, saying it undermines the rule of law.
Today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent. Now the American people will have to do what the court should have been willing to do, but will not. The American people have to render a judgment about Donald Trump's behavior. The American people must decide whether Donald Trump's assault on our democracy on January 6th makes him unfit for public office in the highest office in the land.
Meantime, some Maryland Democrats have also come out against the ruling. Representative Steny Hoyer says the ruling undermines the basic proposition of the U.S. democracy, and Senator Ben Cardin says the justices punted the case to the lower court to delay the case till after the election, rather than settling it clearly. And the Prince George's County Fire Department was dispatched to a house fire in Laurel yesterday. The fire occurred on the 7200 block of Carriage Hill Drive around 5:30 p.m. When crews arrived, the fire was showing through the roof of the 2-story family home. As of now, 6 adults and 3 juveniles have been displaced because of the fire. And a man is dead after a shooting at a worship center in Temple Hills early this morning. Police responded to the 6800 block of Old Branch Avenue after 2:30 a.m. There, they found the man shot and pronounced him dead on the scene. The victim has not been identified, and detectives are working to find suspects and a motive in this case. If you have any information, contact Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS. And Prince George's County Police are investigating an armored truck robbery that occurred yesterday afternoon. The robbery took place on the 52,000 block of Indian Head Highway. The preliminary investigation shows multiple suspects targeted the truck. The driver was not injured, and it's unclear if the robbers were able to get anything from inside the truck. This investigation is active and ongoing. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Solvers at the number on your screen. And the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge will cost the state millions of dollars in lost toll revenue. According to reports, the state will lose about $141 million in toll revenue over 6 years. Reports also indicate that tolls may be increasing. The bridge collapsed when the cargo ship known as the Dolly struck the bridge back on March 26, resulting in the closure of the Port of Baltimore. 6 workers died as a result from that crash. The main shipping channel fully reopened last month. And Prince George's County launches the Office of Procurement to help the county government secure contracts with small businesses. County Executive Angela Alsobrooks says the office will support local and minority-owned businesses and create new opportunities for county residents to work in and improve their communities. The new office will take over several functions from the Office of Central Services, including contract compliance and supplier development and diversity. And sports doesn't just teach children how to run, throw, or jump. Life Sports is showing kids that sports can offer life lessons and principles that go beyond the field. CTV's Bryce Parker is in College Park with more.
It's fulfilling, satisfying. I get to do what I wish was done for me.
What appears to be an ordinary sports camp is actually about something so much bigger.
The idea was, how do we create good learning environments for kids through sport? And that's really what Life Sports is about.
In its first year at UMD, Life Sports is hosting 30 low-income kids in Prince George's County, providing 4 weeks of meals, transportation, and life lessons through sports.
How did you display teamwork so far today?
By cheering others.
How did you get your hat?
I got it by being the best camper of the week.
So the kids at this camp got to learn 9 different sports, but it's not just what they're learning on the court or on the field, but it's also preparing them for the races that life has ahead. Say it, go.
Wait!
From day 1 to now, we're in week 3, as Dr. J was saying. You'll see the steady growth in each of the students, and that it's rewarding to see. Like, you know, you're every day waking up, coming here, there is a sort of impact happening.
The program, which launched at Ohio State in 2008, has proven through research that this approach produces real-time results.
There's less bullying in the classroom. There's less violence. They're doing better in terms of conflict resolution, creating better communities. I've had several parents that said their child is not being as combative. They're less reactive and more proactive, that they're going family outings, and they're actually some of the best that they've had in a long, long time.
As the inaugural summer at UMD comes to a close, Goldstein hopes to double the amount of students next year, which should not be a problem due to the popularity it has on current students.
The kids seem to enjoy it. We told them that we were not having camp on July 4th and July 5th, and we received a round of booze. So we'll take that as a compliment that they want to be here and they're engaged with it and they're having fun with it.
Bryce Parker, CTV News.
That's great. And last week, Life Sports brought in former NBA player Walt Williams, who told campers about the importance of effort. Williams grew up in Temple Hills and played college basketball for the Maryland Terrapins. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Jalad. Still to come, the American Cancer Society has launched a major long-term study. Find out if you qualify to participate after the break.
You gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. When you face a day, it feels like you're gonna break. You gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. When you face a day that feels like you're gonna break. Ooh, just another color. Just another color.
Police need your help in finding a missing man. Take a look at your screen. This is 34-year-old Ryan Boyd. He was last seen at the 11,000 block of Evans Trail in Beltsville on June 19th around 4:45 p.m. He was last seen wearing gray sweatpants, a black tank top, and black shoes. If you see him or know where he may be, please notify missing persons at 301-772-8970. And 2 dogs are missing in the county. They were stolen in an armed robbery in Clinton on Sunday. Both dogs were snatched from their owner near the 10,000 block of Legacy Court at 4:30 p.m. The owner was not injured. Anyone with information is asked to call the number on your screen. And the American Cancer Society has launched a major long-term study of Black women and cancer. It's the largest and longest cancer study of Black women ever in the United States. Researchers will track Black women between the ages 25 and 55 from diverse backgrounds and income levels who have not been diagnosed with cancer. The society says Black women have the highest death rate and shortest survival of any racial groups for most cancers. The goal of the study is to better understand the long-standing disparities among this group. For more information, go to AmericanCancerSociety.org and enter Voices of Black Women in the search bar. And Governor Wes Moore announces a $4 million federal grant to support the state's all-payer healthcare system. The grant will go towards the state's new Advancing All-Payer Equity Approaches and Development, or AHEAD model. The AHEAD model will build on the all-payer system with a focus on primary care, population health, and health equity. It will be implemented in Maryland on January 1st, 2026. And a new marketing campaign has kicked off in Maryland. It's called Eat Like a Marylander. The aim is to get people to eat locally sourced produce, seafood, beer, wine, and more. Here's a clip of an ad produced by the Maryland Department of Agriculture. It will run this summer at movie theaters and on social media. As part of the campaign, a number of restaurants are serving up locally grown food.
And we want to make sure folks are eating local and eating like a Marylander. I think when people think of Maryland, they think of crabs, they think of seafood and oysters, but also we have local products like beef, our farms here providing fresh produce. So there's so many ways that folks can eat like a Marylander, and these are just some of the ways that Maryland's Best team is trying to guide consumers.
Tune in tomorrow and find out what local Prince George's restaurant is taking part in Eat Like a Marylander. And for thousands of Maryland kids from low-income families that lose free school meals during the summer, a new federal program will help them buy groceries. Governor Moore announced Sunbucks, which will serve more than 500,000 children in the state with $60 million in funding. Through the program, low-income families will receive $40 a month for each eligible school-age child to buy groceries over the 3 summer months. 90% of eligible families will receive the benefits automatically, but some parents will need to apply online at the website on your screen. Could the NFL draft be coming to the district? Well, according to documents obtained by the Washington Post, D.C. put in a bid with the NFL to host the 2027 draft in the nation's capital. If approved, the 3-day event would take place at several locations at the National Mall. D.C. also put a bid in for the 2024 draft, but was ultimately outbid by Detroit, which set a record for crowd attendance this past April. And still to come on CTV News, it's Tuesday, so it's time for another Money Matters segment. Our financial expert, Ernest Burley, is here with a little something for everyone. Stay tuned.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, mijo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
You quit smoking and thought, that's that. But here's the thing about lung cancer. By the time you see the symptoms, it could be too late. But now, there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early, when it's more curable. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
It's Tuesday, so it's time for another Money Matters segment. Today we're going to be switching things up and do a potluck segment with a range of topics. So thank you for joining us again, Mr. Burley.
Thanks
How are you
for having
doing?
me. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. So I want to start today with talking about mortgages. You know, a lot of people, if they're lucky, they're looking into buying a house in this market, you know, moving away from apartment living. Here's my question. What's better, a 15-year long mortgage or a 30-year long mortgage?
Right. So it depends on the person's financial position. So with a 15-year mortgage, man, it's like you'll pay like half the interest as you would over a 30-year mortgage, and also the interest rate is lower than the 30-year mortgage. But the thing is, that rate, the monthly payment is going to be a little bit higher since you're paying it in a shorter period of time. So you have to figure out, okay, can I afford this larger payment, even though I'm going to save a ton of interest over time? It still needs to be able to fit your financial budget.
Of course. Yeah. And what else should people know about different types of mortgages and mortgage rates?
Yeah, well, you need to have a good credit score to get you a good rate in the first place. But, you know, there are fixed mortgages, there are ARMs, which stands for adjustable rate mortgage. So you need to figure out what makes most sense for you. Like with an adjustable rate mortgage, you'll get a lower payment up front or a lower rate up front. But with a fixed one, it's fixed over that period of time. The adjustable rate is going to adjust over time. So if you don't plan on staying in that home, if you plan on staying in that home in a longer period of time, then the adjustable rate mortgage may not be for you because the rate may go up later on down the line. And that means if the rate goes up, your mortgage payment goes up.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I see.
It all depends.
Yeah. So now I want to move on to savings. So for a working family, you know, with kids, they might be thinking about saving for retirement, but they're also thinking about saving for their children's education. So 401k, 529 plan, educational savings plan, what should people be focusing on more?
Yeah, I always advocate clients prioritize their retirement planning, right? So I know you want to send your children to school and pay for their school, but there's no such thing as a retirement loan. So you want to prioritize your 401k, your TSP, or whatever your retirement saving vehicle is, and hope your children get scholarships or grants or something of that nature. And if they have to take out a loan, I know that's like taboo nowadays, but I mean, if you invest in your education, stats show that a person with a degree earns twice as much as a person without a degree for the most part. So investing in your education is okay as long as you have a career that you can make some money in and pay that loan back, right? So yeah.
So when it does come to those educational savings plan, I've heard of a 529, but what are some other plans and how do they measure up to a 529?
There's also called a Coverdell Education Savings Account. There's prepaid tuition. So they're all different. I mean, the 529 plan is much more flexible because you can dictate the amount that you want to contribute to it. You can be a multimillionaire and still contribute to a 529 plan. You can contribute to a plan after a person is age 18 versus the Coverdell has like a lot of restrictions to it. So With a Coverdale, you can't put more than $2,000 away per year. The child has to be under 18 during the contribution process. You have to use it by age 30. So there are a lot of different caveats with the Coverdale that aren't in the 529 plan.
Right.
And prepaid tuition is mainly for tuition only. So there's a lot of different stuff you have to look into.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you a question that I hear all the time. So we've got a holiday weekend coming up. When I'm thinking about going out to dinner, or maybe I'm taking a trip, or maybe I'm buying a new grill to host a barbecue, should I put that on my credit card for my rewards points, or should I use my debit card?
So, I mean, credit cards get a bum rap, right? So a credit card can't charge up itself. So a credit card is not bad, just like a vehicle can't run over a person by itself, right? There's always a person behind the transaction or behind the accident. For me, I like using credit cards for large purchases, not like your typical everyday purchases. When I'm out of town, I use a credit card, and also if I'm renting a vehicle. So those are the main reasons I use a credit card. For daily expenses, I recommend the debit card to try to keep yourself on budget. Groceries, restaurant, going to the movies, gas in your car. I recommend using that debit card because it comes right out of your bank account and it's reality, it's real money, as opposed to the credit card that's in la la land, right? So
why do you use your credit card when you're on a trip? Why is that better? It's just a personal preference?
Yes, I feel more secure. It's just that, you know, if I use the credit card and something goes awry with that credit card, I can call back and dispute that charge. I can say, that's not me. But if it's a debit card and I'm out of town, that money's coming right out of my bank account. And you can still dispute it, but it's just a different process. The credit card, it's not something you're immediately affected by, and they will stop that payment. They'll dispute that. Versus the debit card, it's out of your account. You have to try and get the money back into your account.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, I've loved being able to ask you these questions that have kind of been pressing on my mind. So thank you so much for being back with us.
Sure, thank you.
Individuals should contact their own financial professionals and attorneys to help answer questions about specific situations or needs before taking any action based on this information. And if you have a question you would like Mr. Burley to answer in the next Money Matters Potluck segment, send us a DM on our Instagram at PGCTV News, or send us an email at ctvnews@pgctv.org with Money Matters in the subject. And still to come on CTV News, Simon Buggs has our Tuesday sports page, and he's talking minor league baseball and men's soccer.
Hey everybody, and coming right up, our recap of the Bowie Bay Sox game against the Richmond Flying Squirrels and the U.S. men's national soccer team's game against Uruguay and the Copa America that were both played last night. Stay tuned, you'll want to see this.
When I found out my son was using marijuana, I thought it was just part of adolescence.
Lots of teens and young people get high.
But then I found out how powerful today's concentrates are.
I couldn't believe it.
It's far more powerful than weed from the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
When teens use vapes or dabs, the potency can be 80 to 100% THC.
THC can cause addiction, hallucinations, paranoia, anxiety, and cannabis-induced psychosis in youth.
For teens and young adults, marijuana use comes with increased risks
of suicidal thoughts, planning, and attempts.
And these high THC products can be bought almost anywhere.
From gas stations to dispensaries, I had no idea.
Talk to your children well before they experiment with today's potent THC products.
Get educated.
Help them understand the dangers are real.
Just Say No, KNOW. Go to justsayno.org today for the facts.
What's up, sports fans? It's time for your Tuesday sports page. We start with some highlights from the world of minor league baseball. The Bowie Bay Sox took the diamond last night against a conference opponent in the Richmond Flying Squirrels. During most of the game, the Bay Sox struggled offensively as the Flying Squirrels did a good job of putting together outs to keep Bowie from scoring any runs. And while Bowie did struggle to put runs on the board, they did make some nice plays on defense, such as this sequence at the top of the third inning from pitcher Ryan Long and infielder Colin Burns to get an out for the team as a player from the Flying Squirrels tried to get a stolen base. Although Bowie eventually fell behind 4-0 by the 5th inning, the Bay Sox ability to make more plays on defense, such as this throw by infielder Ryan Higgins to first baseman T.T. Bowens to force another out, as well as his catch by Bowens to not only force an out, but stop another potential run for Richmond, had the Flying Squirrels scoreless for the rest of the game. Fast forward to the 9th and final inning, the Bay Sox were finally able to score their first run of the night, as this pitch by the Flying Squirrels led to a walk, allowing outfielder Dylan Beavers to get to home plate and make the score 4-1. And not too long after that, thanks to this pitching error from the Flying Squirrels again, Bowen sprinted to home plate and gave his team their second run of the night. But Bowie was unable to complete the comeback and ended up losing to Richmond 4-2. Now to the world of soccer, the U.S. men's national team was in action last night against Uruguay in the 2024 Copa America group stage. The game was close as neither team has scored up until the 65th minute of the match. And during this free kick by Uruguay, U.S. goalie Matt Turner did come up with a save, but wasn't able to stop the second kick. The U.S. wasn't able to score a goal and ended up losing the match 1-0. Head coach Greg Berhalter spoke after the game and expressed how he and the team were feeling following the loss.
We're bitterly disappointed with the results. We know that we're capable of more, and in this tournament we didn't show it. It's really as simple as that. I think that, you look at the stage that was set with the fans in this tournament, with the high level of competition in this tournament, and we should have done better. And we'll do a review and figure out what went wrong, why it went wrong. But I think it's it's an empty feeling right now for sure.
Switching gears to some basketball news, are you looking for a way to help your child improve their basketball skills over the summer? Well, listen up, parents, as I have a solution for you. Bowie State men's basketball coach Darryl Brooks will be hosting a Bulldogs basketball camp from August 5th to the 8th. The camp is open to ages 7 to 17 and runs from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. with a cost of $250. The camp will take place inside AC Jordan Arena and will help players improve their fundamentals and knowledge of the game. For more information about this camp, visit the website on your screen. And wrapping up sports, the DeMatha High School boys basketball squad will be taking the court tonight. The Stags will match up against John Carroll in the semifinal round of the Summer League playoffs. Tip-off is at 6:30. And that wraps up your Tuesday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. Now let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be mostly clear with a low of 64. Wednesday, it's going to be very nice with a high of 87 and low of 70. Thursday, for this Independence Day, expect showers and thunderstorms after 2 p.m. and a high of 95. Friday, those storms are sticking around. We'll see a high of 93 and low of 75. Now let's get a look at our community calendar. If you're still looking for a place to spend the holiday, the National Harbor is hosting its annual Salute the Sunset concert series. Grab a blanket, get some food, and enjoy the evening with performances by United States military bands. This event takes place from 2 to 3 p.m. And if you want to stay in the area for the evening, the National Harbor will also be showing the 1992 classic, A League of Their Own. The film chronicles two sisters as they join the first female professional baseball league during World War II. The film will screen from 7 to 9 p.m. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.